sequence. On my mark. 10, 9,
No, Joseph.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diana, and today is March 14th, 2013, and here are your news updates for today. Alrighty then, the Extinction Protocol 2012 and beyond. Young woman's death sparks fears of a killer TB strain on Australia's doorstep. Heads up in Australia. NASA finds closest star system to the sun in a century. Let's read that one for a minute. Alrighty then. Now, NASA's Wide Field Infrared Survey explorer WISE has discovered a pair of stars that has taken over the title for the third closest star system to the sun. The dual is the closest star system discovered since 1916. Both stars in the new binary system are brown dwarfs, which are stars that are too small in mass to ever become hot enough to ignite hydrogen fusion. Alrighty then, and the pair is 6.5 light years away. Heads up! See, another binary system. We're a binary system, if you watch, I believe it's yesterday's report. Alrighty then. Over a quarter of South African schoolgirls HIV positive. Also, meteor explodes in skies over South Africa. Another meteor. WHO confirms 15 cases of deadly new virus in Saudi Arabia. That was yesterday. It's terrible. Alright, moving on. The Watchers watching the world. An accelerating greening rate in the Arctic. Also, severe droughts in Indian state of Maharashtra. Hopefully I said it right. Also, new tropical depression forms off the coast of Australia. Heads up. Rock sample analysts indicate ancient Mars could have supported life. You know, we just want to hear if you found aliens and ancient ruins on one of these planets. That's what we're really waiting on hearing. You know, quit dragging your feet on this stuff, NASA. Alrighty then. Tigris and Euphrates rivers losing water reserves at a rapid pace. Alrighty then. New research to focus on energy distribution in upper atmosphere. Alrighty then, let's move on to the E&E news. Fukushima news. EnergyNews.com, I think. Fukushima woman. I started to suffer health problems one after another, just like in villages around Chernobyl. Also today, film. High radiation alarm went off at another Fukushima nuclear plant before tsunami hit. We don't hear much about that one. So somewhere else there's radiation leaking. Heads up. Brainwashed. TEPCO like a cult. Workers thought missile from North Korea caused Fukushima explosion. Now why would they think that unless that was reported to them? Why would they think that? TEPCO. Crimes against humanity. Misinformation, TEPCO. Also, and I have something to add to that, but stay tuned. I have something to say about all our mainstream not reporting on it either. I have a real good rant, I think. I was watching Piers Morgan on CNN, how he's filibustering one of his, and I didn't care who it was and why it was, but he's filibustering his guest. So I have a little message to CNN and Piers Morgan. Oh yes, stay tuned for that one. It's a little rant, kinda. Alright. Yesterday, Japan nuclear expert containment vessel continued to break at various spots. One after another from Fukushima melted fuel. It lost a protective wall which seals in radiation. Wow, we can't handle that one. See, we're going live. Next time, the phone's going all the way outside because this is in another room. I can almost hear it. Alright, here we go. U.S. Canada. Scientists. Tap water could probably run a lawnmower. It's real gas. 500,000 times legal limit for benzene. I've never seen such high levels. Brockovich visits Illinois community. Heads up! 500,000 times legal limit. Tap water. Heads up, get out of there! Get out of there, wherever that's going on. Or, maybe someone will see if it runs, yeah, it runs a lawnmower. You might have some free gasoline there. Heads up! Free gasoline coming out of the tap water pipes, possibly. Check it out. That might be some kind of bad thing, but then a good thing. You might be able to utilize all that. Run your boats and everything else. Check it out. See what it is. Someone analyze it before it's gone. Hidden NOAA animation shows ocean all along U.S. West Coast contaminated with Fukushima cesium by end of March 2011. Okay, we're in 2013. Let me say that again. Hidden NOAA, NOAA, animation shows ocean all along U.S. West Coast contaminated with Fukushima cesium by end of March 2011. Alrighty then. Alright, crimes against humanity. What did I say? Fire them all? What proof do you need of the incompetence? What do you need? Alright. U.S. government model of Fukushima cesium-137 particles covering northern hemisphere. Heads up! This is going to crash our medical community. It's gonna crash it once everyone starts getting sick. Doesn't matter if it's Obamacare or what kind of care. It's going to crash the whole system. And if everyone's getting contaminated, then I guess the elite and the higher ups, I guess they can't go to parties anymore. They can't go into restaurants or anything. They're all being contaminated. Correct? Wow, and that means it goes over to England, doesn't it? Northern Hemisphere, England, Scotland, Germany, all the Northern Hemisphere, all the United States, Canada. What's going on? How come people are hiding that? How come they didn't take all the military forces, get down there and stop it, and the real top scientists, the real ones? Oh. Incompetence. Sickened Alaska animals getting more tests for Fukushima radionuclides. Oozing sores, bleeding, swollen internal organs, hair loss. Okay, so the animals are yeah, it's not just the people. Okay, let's pretend Agenda 21, you don't care about the people, don't you care about the animals too? Right? Right? So it looks like everyone's at a loss of words of what's going on, and it hasn't been stopped, and it was hidden, it wasn't reported on every day. Every day it's going. We should be having everyday reports, and we should have. And you dropped the ball. Who dropped the ball? It's all crimes against humanity. They did. How can all the mainstream drop the ball? This is going on every day. The release is going on every day. Do you understand that? Oh, you don't understand that? Oh my goodness. That's why I said it's a whole new slew of jobs. Along with, don't tell me the politicians don't know either. Don't tell me that. So it doesn't matter what these people are fighting over, and they're going to fight over what? land that isn't any good. Your robots, the singularity, well, the singularity isn't going to work in high radiation, because robots don't work in high radiation. So I guess whatever plans that were going to happen kind of all got destroyed now, because you didn't take care of business. Instead, you know, fighting. It's like a bunch of ants fighting over some food. Meanwhile, the big foot is coming down to stomp on you. Do you see what I'm saying? Doesn't matter if it was a distraction or not. It might be fun living underground, I don't know. But if the Earth's core is heating up, isn't it gonna get to you guys first if you're underground? Think about it. You buried all that radiation underground. You don't think something's gonna happen with the Earth core when all the years of testing, oh, let's just bury it. If it lasts for 24,000 years, that thing's gonna hit the core, if it hasn't started doing that already. And you're gonna go hide underground? Where are you going? Earth platform? You know, the Earth platforms? I don't think so. Solar flare might take that out. Alright, moving on. New flyover footage of Louisiana pipeline blaze. Official monitoring air quality. Unknown how long it will burn. Can't be put out due to explosion risks. Can't be put out due to explosion risks? Well. Uh-oh. I'm telling you, humanity is destroying the earth rapidly. Now, that's probably what our ancient predecessors have done. So, in order the earth's not going to go anywhere. So, in order for the earth to sustain itself, I could see why there would be all of a sudden a giant ice age flash freeze. Maybe that's the only way it's going to be put out. Oh wow! But the Earth's going to protect itself. That's why it's been here so long. It's, you know, it's going to protect itself. Be ready for anything. Alrighty then. That's enough ranting. Just don't. I told you so. Just see. I told you so. You'll see. Alrighty then. It is 4 days down. It's the eve of Friday. We're almost there. Hang in there. Stay tuned. Got some good footage. Also, it went up to 6,000 dead pigs floating down the river in Singapore. Just floating down. Dead pigs. And somewhere that's in the Bible too. But they don't know why they're dead. They're testing them. They don't know what's going on. I know it's just not right. I don't think they just jumped in. So take care. Stay tuned. I say on it, if you're squirmish, you know, you get grossed out easily. You might want to just listen to it until it gets past the dead pigs floating down the river. Alrighty then. Take care. Stay tuned. And I'll see you again tomorrow on the flip side. And someone commented on the beginning, so I gave you guys a break and I put something else on there. Alrighty then. Take care. I'll do a shout out maybe in a couple days. Okay, China pulls nearly 6,000 dead pigs and this out of a river in Shanghai. This is viewer discretion advised. If you get, you know, if you get squeamish, you might not want to look at this. You might just want to listen and turn your head. Alrighty then. But if not, I'm gonna run it. AP's running the information off of it. Here it is for you guys. Remember, viewer discretion is advised. Look.
In China, the number of dead pigs found floating in a river leading into Shanghai has reached almost 6,000. Government officials say the surge in dead pigs may be from pig farms upstream, coming after police campaigns to curb the illicit trade of pork products from diseased pigs. The Shanghai municipal government says the city's water supply remains safe and that it is taking proper measures to dispose of the pigs and test water for common swine viruses. In the province where the pigs may have come from, there are no reports of a swine epidemic. Officials say cold weather is to blame for the pig deaths. Shanghai authorities have been retrieving swollen and rotten pigs since Friday, the images widely broadcast, raising public ire against local officials. Lee Powell, The Associated Press.
All of a sudden, sinkholes. Who knew?
Now I'm getting a little worried.
It's a serious issue.
It is.
Thank you.
And a round of golf for a group of men in Illinois was anything but relaxing. One of the men fell into an 18-foot deep sinkhole that opened up beneath him on the fairway of the 14th hole. He dislocated his shoulder in the fall, and he wasn't able to climb out. But good news, one of his buddies climbed into that hole, put a rope around him, and he was pulled to safety. And I don't know about you, Wolf, but I keep wondering, what is all of this? And a round of golf for a group of men in Illinois was anything but relaxing. One of the men fell into an 18-foot deep sinkhole that opened up beneath him on the fairway of the 14th hole. He dislocated his shoulder in the fall, and he wasn't able to climb out. But good news, one of his buddies climbed into that hole, put a rope around him, and he was pulled to safety. And I don't know about you, Wolf, but I keep wondering, what is all of this with all these sinkholes? We keep hearing problems of sinkholes.
All of a sudden, sinkholes. Who knew?
Now I'm getting a little worried.
It's a serious issue.
It is.
This was yesterday, or we're going to say 2 days ago now, on March 12th, and that was in the city of St. Louis. St. Louis. Alrighty then.
A St. Louis area golfer might want to contact the USGA about an entirely new breed of rough he recently stumbled across. Mark Mihal was playing the 14th hole of a southwestern Illinois golf course Friday when he fell into a sinkhole right in the middle of the fairway. He says he fell about 18 feet into the earth, but fortunately ended up with only a dislocated shoulder. Luckily, Mihal's golf buddies got him out after about 20 minutes by using a 12-foot ladder and some rope. On the bright side of that bad lie, at least Mihal wasn't dragged into playing basketball with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, like Michael Jordan was in Space Jam. Mihal's wife wrote on his website later that he was beginning to panic because he is claustrophobic, and due to the recent story of the Florida man who was swallowed up when a sinkhole opened up underneath his bedroom. But a geologist who examined the hole told the St. Louis Post-Dispatch sinkholes are common in the area because the bedrock in the region is limestone, which dissolves in heavy rainwater. He says this guy just really was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mihal says despite the not-so-traditional hole-in-one, he plans to keep playing golf, but he's not so sure about playing that course anymore because it'd be kind of strange playing that hole again.
Here's some real strange. Now we're getting into the weird news. I would like to thank Glenn from California for bringing this to my attention. Norway teacher fired for bringing vial of her blood to class, letting little children taste it. Oh, what's really going on? Here we go, here's another one. Oh, here we go, here's another one. China imprisons 4 men for ghost marriage, corpse bride trafficking. Wow, ghost marriages, which may date back to the 17th century BC, are increasingly rare in contemporary China. Mao Zedong tried them when he assumed power in 1949, but they are still practiced in rural parts of Shanxi, Henan, Hebei, and Guangdong. Families often employ a matchmaker to help find a suitable spouse for their deceased loved ones. Oh, okay. See, it's a millennium-old custom of burying deceased bachelors alongside newly deceased wives so they will not grow lonely in the afterlife. Heads up! Wow. Bizarre news. That's your bizarre crypto news. What's really going on? But it's the real news. Hang tight. More coming up.
Today is March 12th, 2013, 11:38 p.m. Pacific Time. And up next, here's a map of sea level rises, impacts, and mitigation measures around the world. And we're going to show you some of these locations and how sea level rise could be affecting these regions. Let's begin with the first one. Okay, the first one is Antarctica, covering an area of 14 million square kilometers, 5.4 million square miles. The Antarctic ice sheet is roughly the same size as the U.S. It stores an estimated 30 million cubic kilometers, 7.2 million cubic miles of ice, and is up to 5 kilometers thick in some places. If all the ice stored here melted, scientists estimate sea levels would rise by around 60 meters. That's a lot. Whoa. And at the bottom, this area is relatively small and would contribute little to global sea level rise, but the West Antarctica ice sheet, which would add 5 meters to sea levels, is diminishing rapidly, say the BAS, with coastal areas of the Amundsen Sea sector thinning at a rate of 1 meter every year. Alright, and that's Antarctica. Next, Sydney, Australia. With around 80% of its 22 million citizens living on or near the coast, Australia is expected to experience significant impacts from rising sea levels and storm surges, say AusCoast, the government's online coastal information service. In a report published in 2009, the Australian government estimates that property worth a combined $156 billion was at risk. A 1 meter rise in sea levels would see shorelines retreat by between 50 and 100 meters, according to scientists. In the state of Queensland, 250,000 properties are at risk, while in New South Wales, home to a third of the overall population, more than 200,000 properties are vulnerable. The report recommended adopting a national policy that will coordinate building codes in coastal regions along with a national evacuation and relocation strategy. Sounds like they're pretty serious about this. Yep. Alright, let's go to the next. The Maldives. Rising sea levels are a particularly acute problem for the Maldives as its position as the world's lowest lying nation. An archipelago of almost 1,200 islands scattered across the 249 square kilometer, 96 square miles of the Indian Ocean, the country has understandably been one of the most outspoken on the issue of rising sea levels. The Maldives are only 2.4 meters above sea level at their highest point, meaning just a small increase could threaten the island's very existence. Ooh. Alright, next, Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City. Vietnam will be the most seriously impacted country in East Asia, according to a 2007 World Bank report. A 5 meter rise would impact up to 16% of land, with acute difficulties along the Mekong Delta in the south and the Red River Delta to the north. A 1 meter rise would impact around 11% of Vietnam's 87 million inhabitants, increasing to more than a third if sea levels rise by 5 meters, according to the World Bank. And it says much of the country's rice production takes place in the wider Mekong Delta area, where a 1 meter rise would swallow up nearly 40% of the land. Ooh. That's bad. Okay, Guangzhou, China. Lying at the tip of the Pearl River Delta, Guangzhou is southern China's largest city with over 12 million residents. It is one of the country's main manufacturing hubs, but faces severe threats to sea level rise. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development ranks it only second to Miami in future exposed assets, 3,357 billion by the 20s. Okay, at the bottom it says these rises, according to the report, will submerge 18,000 square kilometers, 6,950 square miles of China's low-lying coastal land. Oh,
Hence
gosh.
the vacant cities.
Bangladesh, here we are. The low-lying and densely populated region of southern Bangladesh is extremely vulnerable to rising sea levels in the Bay of Bengal. These dangers are amplified by the country's impoverished economic situation that ensures investment in expensive flood defenses is nigh on impossible. Okay, Bangladesh might have a very serious problem. Look at that. 60 meters? Whoa. Yep. Alexandria, Egypt. As the streets of Cairo have been transformed by revolution, rising sea levels have continued to quietly alter some of the country's most fragile ecosystems and cultural relics. Salt water from the Mediterranean Sea has already pushed up into the Nile Delta, home to more than 3/4 of Egypt's population and over half of its agricultural production, according to the World Wildlife Fund. This process has increased the salt content of groundwater used to irrigate crops, degrading the quality of surrounding farmland. In coastal cities such as Alexandria, waters have visibly encroached on beaches and shorelines in recent years. And if left unchecked, these developments will likely have a corrosive effect on the city's many historic buildings and monuments that date back to the times of Alexander the Great.
Wow.
Whoa. Concrete flood barriers have been erected to protect vulnerable shorelines, while thousands of tons of sand have been added to beaches already succumbing to the advancing sea. Oh gosh. Alright. Got a problem out there, that's for sure. Venice, Italy. Oh yes, Venice, Italy. And we've seen some reports on Venice, Italy, that's for sure. Yep, it was underwater very badly. Venetian residents and their many visitors regularly contend with floodwater lapping around their ankles and higher during the winter months. As sea levels rise and its buildings slowly sink, the city has subsided by around 25 centimeters over the past century. Drastic measures are being implemented to save this architectural and cultural gem from the mire. Ooh. And at the bottom, according to scientists reporting in the journal Water Resources Research in late 2011, a decade's worth of continuous injection of seawater into the sediment could lift the city by as much as 30 centimeters. Whoa.
Isn't that big?
Venice, Italy. Rotterdam, Netherlands. The Netherlands is one of Europe's lowest lying nations and among the best prepared to deal with the threat of rising sea levels. Extensive flood barriers have protected the country's mainly flat landscape, half of which is below mean sea level, since the implementation in the late 1950s. Further inland, hundreds of dikes and dams have been fashioned in the country's myriad inland waterways to restrict. Accumulations of snow built up over thousands of years have created a store of around 2.6 million cubic kilometers of ice, which would raise sea levels by approximately 7 meters, 23 feet. Yeah. And that is it. Okay, by the end of the 21st century, the IPCC estimate polar ice sheets could raise sea levels by 1 meter. That's Greenland. Miami, United States. Florida's 18.5 million residents are particularly vulnerable to sea level rise, with Miami bearing the brunt of any rising waters. A 2007 OECD report ranked Miami as the city with the most assets at risk from coastal flooding in the world. With 400 billion currently at risk to an estimated 3,500 billion by the 2070s. Projected sea level rises for this century would also have a devastating effect on the state's ecosystems. Sea level rise would also threaten the source of drinking water for 5 million residents of southern Florida. Whoa. And at the bottom it says many states and cities bordering the Gulf and Atlantic coast, including Louisiana, North Carolina, New York City, and Virginia Beach, face equally formidable challenges should waters continue to rise. Wow. Miami. Guyana, South America. Around 90% of Guyana's 800,000 strong population live along the country's 430-kilometer coastal plain, with its capital, Georgetown, actually sitting below sea level. According to the CIA World Factbook, the economy is based largely on agriculture and extractive industries, with sugar, gold, bauxite, shrimp, timber, and rice making up nearly 60% of GDP. What is this CIA World Factbook, I wonder? Interesting. Has anybody ever heard of that? CIA World Factbook? What does that mean? Okay. That's a curious thing, huh? Okay, so they're talking about flooding. 50 miles of man-made sea defenses have been developed to protect homes and livelihoods from flooding.
Is the man who tells America more guns, less crime, that in countries where they have brought in gun control following massacres like Sandy Hook, they had seen 0 mass shootings in one country, 0 school shootings.
This is one for the record on Diana Marks, and my question is for Piers Morgan and for CNN. If you people are just so worried about mass shootings and killings and all that, how come you're not addressing the fact about Fukushima? How about all the children that are coming up with 44% of all children over there by Fukushima have thyroid problems? What about all the radiation poisoning? You people are trying to act like you care about something, and you're going to filibust all your guests? Let me filibust you. Why don't we answer some questions about Fukushima? Huh? You're going to try to sidetrack with other issues and other agendas? But I don't see you worried about Fukushima. Doesn't that also go across to England, London? Hello, CNN. Hello, misreporting on Fukushima. But you're acting like, well, we're going to have programs on because we're worried about mass shootings and everything else. But what about mass genocide over there? Crimes against humanity over in Fukushima, over in Japan. What's going on? What's really going on? Don't act like you, who want to filibuster all these side issues. Listen, the whole world is at stake. And you're going to filibuster other things, try to get an agenda across. Here's my agenda to you, CNN. And you there, Piers Morgan. Why don't we address the fact of Fukushima? Why don't we address the fact that 4 reactors went off, and only 1 went off in Chernobyl, and we're acting like nothing's going on. What about that one, huh?
Today reauthorized funding for Facebook, the massive online surveillance program run by the CIA. According to Department of Homeland Security reports, Facebook has replaced almost every other CIA information gathering program since it was launched in 2004.
After years of secretly monitoring the public, we were astounded so many people would willingly publicize where they lived, their religious and political views, an alphabetized list of all their friends' personal email addresses, phone numbers, hundreds of photos of themselves, and even status updates about what they were doing moment to moment. It is truly a dream come true for the CIA.
Much of the credit belongs to CIA agent Mark Zuckerberg, who runs the day-to-day Facebook operation for the agency. The decorated agent, codenamed the Overlord, was recently awarded the prestigious Medal of Intelligence Commendation for his work with the Facebook program, which he has called, quote, the single most powerful tool for population control ever created. Among the biggest successes of the Facebook program is Operation Farmville, which the CIA credits with pacifying as many as 85 million people after unemployment rates rose dramatically. Other features, such as the suggested friends window, have been instrumental in allowing government agents to infiltrate deeper into the friend networks of suspected dissidents. For some expert analysis now on the story, let's check in with the Fact Zone's first responders. Jason, you have written extensively about the Facebook program. Why is it so effective?
Well, one of the key reasons is that the CIA has been so thorough in convincing the nation that constantly sharing information about everything that you're doing is somehow desirable instead of deeply unsettling.
Yeah. You know, the critics are saying that with the national debt being so high, is this really the time to be spending even more money on spy programs?
Well, actually, the Facebook program saves the CIA money.
That's right.
Like the Maps application where you list every place that you've been, whether it's the state or a country. Or...
Oh, right, with the little pins, they show where you visited. Yeah,
yes,
I like
that kind of information would have taken the CIA months of going through hotel receipts and plane tickets to figure it all out. The manpower that Facebook saves is huge.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the calendar feature even lets the CIA know where you're going to be in advance. So that's
right. So now if they want to pick you up for questioning, all they have to do is see which events you RSVP'd yes to and then send their agents to be waiting for you.